Guys, Naji here. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So we have been discussing about Azure Text Analytics, and in this video we will be discussing on Azure Text Analytics for Health. So which is a one of the pre-built feature offered by Azure AI language, which is basically provides or it is applied to machine learning intelligence to extract and label relevant medical informations from a variety of unstructured text such as doctor notes, discharge summaries, clinical document and electronic health records. So this text analytics for health is basically used to extract the entities or label or summarization of the or applying the medical code of different medical records. Okay, that is what it said. It's like doctor summary, discharge summaries and clinical notes, etc. So text analytics for health. So when we apply that, it will actually return us three type of categories or three functions, three major keys it will return. So first one is it will return a NER, name identity recognition. Then it will return a relation extraction. And third one it will return a entity linking. And fourth one it will return a assertion detection. Okay. So NER, we all know it. It's a name identity recognition. So this will return the diagnosis, medication name, symptoms and sign, etc. So I have a screenshot here. So we can see that it has a medication name is here, diagnosis is also there. So all those things we will get. Okay, all unit, examination unit, everything we will get with NER. So when we talk about the relation extraction, so in a relation extraction, this will give us a relationship between two entities. For example, here time of condition. So this is one of the relation. So this means 2:30 a.m. this morning of a sore throat. Okay. So this happened in this particular condition. Okay. Then third is entity linking. So we have already discussed about entity linking. So in entity linking, which will disambiguate the entity informations, right, by adding some additional informations. So in that video, we discussed about adding wiki URLs with that. But since it's a medical domain, here you will be using unified medical language system. Okay, so that is what we are adding as a entity linking. So here we can see that here we have a UMLS data is there. So this will ensure that what is mean by the NAD. Fine. So in the third step, assertion detection. So in assertion detection, what happens is that it will add some kind of a contextual modifiers with the entities, with the extracted entities. For example, here it is adding someone else. Okay, so this actually assertion detection is a kind of a detailed section that we need to discuss. But for the time being, just understand that this will add some kind of a contextual modifiers. So here this is adding someone else. So that means this is not related to a patient. Okay, so here we know that it's a patient's brother, right? And this is about someone else. So this is also talking about somebody, not actually a person. Okay. Now here we can see that different assertion can be seen here. So here we can see that positive possible. So positive possible means we can say that it's likely to exist, but it is uncertain. Okay, so we have like a hypothetical is also there. Okay, then that means it may occur in the future. Okay, then negative means it is negative, right? The concept exists. I mean, the concept does not exist. That is meaning the negative. Okay. So these are the major four categories or four key functions that is returned from the Azure Text Analytics for Health. Okay. Now, where we will use this, or what is the advantage of using this? Okay. So this will actually definitely this is used in the healthcare domain. Okay, so this will help us to automate the medical document. Okay, with proper, it will help us to give some kind of a proper medical coding. Okay, and this will definitely increase the what we call the healthcare professionals, and this will also help us to analyze the healthcare data. So healthcare data is actually a kind of a huge data. So consider like if we have a patient called maybe 60 years old or maybe say 65 years old. So from his childhood to till date, he will have a lot of records with respect to his what we call medical. He will have a lot of medical records, right? So reading and understanding all those things will be very difficult. So it is always good to use the tools like this, which will ease the professionals or the doctors work very easy, or physicians work very easy. Okay, fine. So now we can see how can we implement this in the coding. Okay, for that I can add a file called health.py. Okay, maybe health u.py says health is also already there. Okay, here maybe we can add a key, then we can add the endpoint. We all know from where we will get this, right? So for that we can go to the Azure thing, then we can go to the maybe we can go to the resources. From the resources we can go to the language. From here we will get keys and endpoint. Okay, so if you are seeing this in this video the first time, so I recommend please go and check my previous videos, and especially my first video, in which like I have explained about creating language resources and getting these keys. Okay, so let me copy this key and paste it here, and let me copy the endpoint and paste it here. Okay, now what we can import few packages. This may not be needed, but to import it, then we can from AI text analytics we can import text analytics client. Okay, and from Azure core credentials we can import Azure key credential. Now we can declare a text analytics client. I can just simply call it as a client. Okay, here I can pass the endpoint as endpoint. Now I can pass the credentials as Azure key credential. Here I can pass the key. So we have our client. Now we can have our documents. Here I can pass the document. So let me write it here. I can write it as a mg of can see that 3 mg of potassium. Okay, so this is my one text. Maybe I can add one more thing. Let me add one more thing here. I can say that patient needs to take 50 mg of and 2 mg of okay, so this is my document. Okay, now we can call this function. So we already have the client. Now we can say that begin analyzing the healthcare entities. Here we have the auto completion. Here we can pass the documents. Okay, so once the document is passed, what we can do, we can get the result here. we can have the result. We can check which one will we have. The result function is here. Okay, now we can take only the good document. Okay, for that we can loop through it. Okay, if not doc is error. So if it is not error, we will have all the document. Okay, now we can loop through the documents. Okay, so here we have a doc in docs. Now we can see the entities. Okay, so here we have a entities in doc entities. Okay, now we can print the entity. Okay, so here we have the entity that we are going to print, that is entity dot maybe categories there. We can use the text. Now I can copy and I can paste this one. We can have a normalized text. I can mention normalized text. Here I can take it as a normalized text. I'm not going to take every feature, but definitely we can have the few features. We can have a category. Here this will be entity dot category. Now we know that next we can check for the sources. Okay, so for that, here we can check that if entity is associated with any data source. Okay, if it is not none, if it is not none, that means it has some data source. Okay, so that we can take it from entity dot data source. Okay, now we can print the data source. Here I can print it as a Tibet entity ID. Here we can print that, data source dot entity ID. Now here I can print the entity doc. Maybe let me copy this, copy and paste it here, and we can use the entity name. So this will be entity name. Okay, so that is done. Data source part is done. Now we can check any assertion is there. Okay, so here similar to this entity dot assertion, we can check that if it is not none, then there is some assertion is there. Okay, so we can just print for assertion. Let me give another option. Okay, this is for assertion. I am only taking one here. Okay, you guys can try it out with different assertions. Here I will be checking conditionality only. Entity dot, let me check assertion dot conditionality only. Okay, you guys can check others also. Okay, just explore this. Okay, it's very hard to go through all the properties. Okay, now we can check for any relation is there. Okay, for that we can come out of entity loop, then we can check any relation is there. Okay, dot entity relation is there. Okay, now we can check any role is available. Relation dot roles, here we can print the role. Okay, print f role. We can print here as a role name we can pass. Now we can pass the entity. Okay, so this will be role dot entity dot text. Okay, so let me complete the coding part. Now we can run it. Okay, so I can run it like health underscore new, sorry, health underscore new dot py. So let me execute this. You can check. Okay, see the execution is in progress. Here we will have the data. So here we can see that a lot of information. We can see that it's a category is a entity is 100 and it's a dosage, and it's a another entity is ibuprofen, which is a it's a normalized text, and it is a category of meditation, and it will have this kind of a what we call the entity linking. Okay, then we will have the role. Okay, meditation entity, all those details. So its role is meditation, entity is like ibuprofen dosage, and it is 50 mg, and it is role is dosage, and entity is 2 mg. Okay, so here we can see that it has lot of contents are there here. Okay, so that will definitely help us to do different processing. I mean, we can, using this we can do different healthcare document processing. Okay, so yeah, it's actually little lengthy. Okay, so I believe everybody understood the usage of Azure Analytics for Health. Okay, so yeah, that's it. I will definitely commit this code to GitHub and I will share the code. Okay, so please do like and subscribe. Have a nice day. Bye bye.